Strap yourself into a Ferrari F40 and challenge a Porsche 959 in a race across the United States. It's Turbo Outrun for the Sega Mega Drive. I love that name, Mega Drive. It's the Japanese and European name for the Sega Genesis, as we know it in the US. And isn't it ironic that even though you're driving across the United States in this game, it's not available for the Sega Genesis. This is the Japanese Mega Drive version. This is a 1992 release based on the 1989 arcade machine. And it's a bit different from the standard Outrun. For starters, you don't choose your own path. You drive from city to city in a kind of indirect way across the US. My favorite feature in this game is the depiction of the cities. Washington, D.C., which is where we're supposedly driving here, without a giant traffic jam. You should be sitting still fuming and swearing at everyone around you. And Pittsburgh looks more like Utah while it's snowing in Atlanta. Great job visiting the cities, designers. It doesn't snow very often in Atlanta, Georgia, and this car would not make it through the Pennsylvania Turnpike because that's more like an off-road rally course, with never-ending construction constantly making the road even worse, while the state robs you of all your money because you have to pay for that enjoyment. Not that I'm opinionated. Aside from that, the game's other notable feature is its turbo button. That's right, your F40 has a Batmobile-style turbo boost. Indianapolis, take that, Ohio, the designers forgot you existed. Sadly, you can't hold down the turbo button the entire time that you're driving. It will overheat. But to be honest, the turbo feature is only really useful at very specific points after the first couple levels, because what it'll do most of the time is propel you at full speed into traffic or off the road. I'm actually playing this on the Outrun 3, which has no region encoding, so it'll play Japanese releases, and Turbo Outrun was sent to the show by our longtime friend Mohammed in Qatar. Let's all check out the Outrun band and admire my bonus points. Here's another big change from the original Outrun. You can upgrade your car at checkpoints. I'm going to put on high grip tires in a desperate attempt to keep my car on the road while using the turbo button. It's not going to work. Now we're in Chicago. After a hearty meal of a 3-foot-deep pizza, we're going to embark on the next phase of our adventure, the drive south instead of going west. Now apparently if you drive all right, your companion will stay in the car with you. Doing what? I'm not entirely sure, but let's watch what happens if you drive poorly.
Get ready.
That's right, by getting rid of her, your car is now lighter and faster. She wasn't much of a conversationalist anyway. Turbo Outrun plays well enough on the Mega Drive, but to be honest, it's not as good as Outrunners or the original Outrun. I've never seen the arcade version of this game, but the Mega Drive version just doesn't seem to keep up with the turbo. When you get into the windier levels, you really can't use it, because you'll turbo right off the road into something. This game isn't quite as smooth as it could be to run the way that it probably should. The turbo moves faster than it does. But that's also part of the challenge. It doesn't seem to want you turboing everywhere. Like the other versions of Outrun, it requires a good deal of memorization and some luck, hoping you don't run into other vehicles. If you're looking to import this one into the US, make sure you have a game system that will play it. It does not work on a standard American Genesis. Did you see what just happened there? I crashed into a giant pickle. Turbo Outrun is also available for other game consoles like the Commodore 64. Now we've just driven into a blizzard in Atlanta. It's Turbo Outrun, the day after tomorrow edition, as we're trying to outrun the changing climate and the end of life as we know it. Thanks again to our friend Mohammed in Qatar, MAJ2K2. This is Turbo Outrun for the Sega Mega Drive. That's mega awesome. I crashed into a pickle again after hitting that giant gray corn dog.